Hey, hey, Matt Morris, mattmorris.com. Today we're going to talk about closing. Excited about that. And I'm going to talk about the 4-second rule. And I'm going to kind of go through something that I think is holds people back. I think it's a subconscious way that we sabotage ourselves a little bit, and so I'm going to give you a little tweak on it. So listen, as we get going here, let me know where you're tuning in from. Give me your city, your state, your country in the comments so I can welcome you. And let's see, aloha. Looks like Hawaii is in the house. We got Denmark here. Let me know if you're watching it live or if you're watching this on the replay. If you're seeing me for the first time on a live, drop me the number 1 below so I can welcome you. And listen, if you want to give some value to some others and you share this in the comments, just put the word shared so I can give you a shout out. So good to see you guys. Denver, Corey, Pablo in Mexico. Kentucky is live. We have got San Diego in the house. We've got Sweden, Mauritius. Still have never been there. Definitely want to go. Kenya, Romania, Israel. Mirel, thank you for the share. Edna is live. I see South Africa in the house. I see London. I see South Florida. Rock and roll. So listen, here's what I want to talk about. A couple things. Number one, I just want to let you guys know I am coronavirus free. Devin actually had an appointment, and the person she had the appointment with back a little over a week ago got coronavirus, got infected. And so we're like, well, we don't have any symptoms. No one in the family has any symptoms. We had 13 people in the house over the last week. And so we're like, man, if we have corona, there's a bunch of people who are going to have it. And so we went and got tested Friday. Now, if you've not been tested and you don't know, we actually wanted to get it done quick. So we went through a CVS drive-through, and there's no nurse. So they actually give you a kit that you open up, and a sanitized kit. So you open it up, and it's got this kind of like a really thin Q-tip that is about this long that you've got to shove in your nose. So not the most pleasant experience. You basically shove it in your nose way back there. You twist it a couple times, and then you hold it for 15 seconds. I pull it out. I think, oh my gosh, I'm done. Well, the lady at the window who's like observing and giving us instructions, she says, now the other nose. Like, crap. So you put it in there, twist it, wait, and put it in the bag and send it off. So it was an interesting experience for sure. Not the most pleasant, but we got the results this morning, coronavirus free. So we're good to go. So let's talk about closing. So here's the thing, and I've trained on this for years. And it's one of the hardest things, I think, for a lot of salespeople to do is when you ask for the sale, you shut up, okay? We know the number one reason why people don't buy is because they're not asked to buy. Many salespeople never ask for the business, and so they never get the business. If you ask not, you have not, so you must ask, okay? So you ask, but the challenge is it takes the human brain anywhere from like 4 to 8 seconds to make a buying decision to spend a few $100s. Now, it's only 4 to 8 seconds. It's not a long time. And you guys may know this rule, but the average salesperson won't allow more than 2 to 3 seconds of silence. They interrupt because it's uncomfortable and it almost feels like pressure. So when you ask someone, hey, are you ready to get started? Are you ready to purchase the product? Are you ready to get signed up? And you wait. That was 4 seconds. It felt like a long time, okay? It may have been less than 4 seconds. And so the average salesperson will interrupt and give more benefits or talk about how awesome it is, whatever it may be. So what happens, it resets the buying process in the brain. So your prospect who you're trying to get to buy something, Wayne, thank you for the share. Edwina, thank you for the share. I appreciate that. So you've started the buying process in their brain when you ask the question. There's some silence. It's going to take 4 to 8 seconds. So you sit there and wait. And then you interrupt because you just can't stand the silence. I've done this I've trained on this all over the world. And I'll do that pause. And I'll just go 5, 6 seconds and people start laughing, people start talking, Even in a room where people have not said a word for 20 minutes listening to me train, as soon as I'm silent, they start talking because the silence is uncomfortable. So you got to get used to the silence and just shut up. Zip your lips. When you ask for the business, hey, are you ready to get started? As long as it takes. If it's 30 seconds, if it's a minute, I'll just sit there. I used to sell swimming pools. Some of you know my story. I was homeless. I lived out of my car. I sold above ground swimming pools. And that's about a $9,000. Say it was anywhere from $7,000 to $9,000 for one of these pools. And so it's more than 4 to 8 seconds. I mean, sometimes it's minutes. And so I'm like, let's get your pool installed. Let's get your pool scheduled for installation. Sound good? And I'd have to sit there. And they told me in the sales training, if it's 30 minutes, you just sit there. And what they trained me on was this. They said, whoever talks first loses. How many of you have heard that? If you've heard whoever talks first loses, drop me that in the comments. Now, I hate that. Dominic, thank you for the share, my friend. I hate that. Because listen, if you're selling a product and they talk first, I mean, what that means is whoever talks first loses. So the salesperson loses because they don't make the sale because they interrupt. The prospect loses because they talk and then they buy it. Well, do you want someone to lose by buying your product? So I'm telling you, if you're a trainer, stop saying that. Especially, don't say it for yourself. You're like, hey, whoever talks first loses. The way I look at it, if someone buys my product, they win because I'm sold out on my product, because I know my product adds value to their lives. And so they win. They don't lose, they win. So if the prospect talks first, they win. Now, if you're a sales trainer, you've got to be aware that most people are good people. I'm assuming all of you are very good people, and you're saying this just because it kind of sounds good. Right? It's kind of like the thing in network marketing where we say, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person or the right thing to the wrong person. Totally not true. I mean, but we say it because it sounds really cool. It's just not true. Okay. So don't say it just because it sounds good. If you're training an organization and you're telling them, you're training them on this concept, and you say, whoever talks first loses, it's subconsciously planting something in their mind that if their prospect buys, their prospect loses. Now, you don't want that implanted into people's minds because people, I believe, are naturally good. I know a lot of people may not share that belief, but I think people are good. And I don't think that people are going to be super motivated for their prospect to lose if they buy their product. So, I heard another thing. I was in a training one time and they were talking about the invitation process. And the trainer was teaching everyone in the room to say, when you call your prospect, to say, hey, I only have 1% left on my battery. So real quick, what are you doing tonight at 7 o'clock? The trainer is training everyone to lie. Don't train people to lie. It's completely unethical. And I promise you, some people may not care. Some people are like, it's a white lie. It's not a big deal. There are other people, myself included, where if I hear something like that, it bothers me in a very big way. And so, and I'll be honest, it didn't always bother me in a big way. But as I've developed as a man, I've developed as a father, as I've developed as a leader, one of the things that I've made super important for me is my integrity and my honesty. And so I don't want to sell a product and be honest. And if someone is training me to sell a product and be dishonest, I'm not going to sell the product. So realize if you are teaching these things, you're sabotaging your success. So Elena, thank you for the share. I appreciate it. Sonia, thank you for the share. So listen, that's my message today. Don't stop saying whoever talks first loses when it comes to shutting up after making a sale. Make sure if you're in a training environment, make sure you're not training people to be dishonest and deceptive in their sales practices. It may work for some people, but I'm telling you, the people that you want to have on your team are not the people who are going to build a dynasty with you. So stand on a bedrock of integrity, and I think long term you will have much, much more success. Pete, thank you for the share. I appreciate that. So that's it, my friends. I got to run, but wanted to drop a nugget or two with you guys. Listen, if you've not subscribed to my newsletter, hop over to mattmorris.com, put your name and email address in, and you will get my daily nuggets of wisdom that we drop in your email box on a near daily basis. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Love you lots. Take care. Sally, thank you for that share. Pete, thank you for the share.